Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us in this episode of video interview where we have Mr. Girish Jairath, VP and Head Enterprise ITES Infrastructure and Cloud Management at Mphasis. We also have us joining here today, Mr. Prakash Bell, Head in Security Engineering, India and SAARC. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here today.
Thank you so much for having us to be part of this entire show.
The pleasure is all ours, Girish. Thank you. So I'm very glad to be part of this conversation here because this is a very, very burning issue in the today's date and world where organizations are seeing a rapid acceleration of change of the environment in which they have to deliver, thrive, grow, and everything, whatnot, right? And the major concern that is coming up time and again is that how do you, fast pace your cybersecurity posture as well, given the environment today, right? And when I say environment, I'm actually referring to three predominant trends today, right? One is that every organization today has realized the power of data, and hence, they are trying to, build more and more data, collect more and more data, right? But then they do not know how to safeguard that data, right? And parallelly, we are also witnessing that the cyber hacker community is becoming as advanced or maybe even more advanced than the organizations themselves, right? They are using technology today to name AI or something, right? And, it's not about individuals hacking you anymore. These are, proper congregations, that are trying to attack organizations, right? And last but not the least, keeping all this in mind, the government is also setting in a lot of regulations, right? So the complications are just adding on to the organizations that are wanting to, establish their name in the industry today. And this is very, very, hyper nuanced in an ITES company. I think in that industry, it is even more prevalent. So, Girish, we are glad that we have you here today. And I would want to begin with you that given this landscape, given this, whole ecosystem, what are the basic principles that you would want to, propagate when someone is from an ITES, organization and they are trying to approach their cybersecurity posture? Over to you, Girish.
Thank you, Sumita, once again. So I think the first and the prior thing is understanding the demographics about your organization. Where is my landscape? Where do I reside? My tenants? Where does my data resides within the ecosystem of what we serve to our customers? And basis on that, we start designing the data in rest, data in motion kind of architecture to ensure that usually taking compliance at the prime center and defining the data and ensuring the data architecture is been designed. For an example, looking into the compliance part of GDPR. And if I have a European-based nation, I will ensure my design architecture contains data residing in that particular country rather than bringing the data back at home, because then you are with more obligations, more compliance level to ensure that DPO comes into picture and other compliance vectors comes into picture.
Absolutely, Girish. I think you hit the nail at the very beginning that your complete focus is on data and how you're building that data architecture. But having said that, okay, and you're hailing from a company where you are servicing so many other organizations, right? You are helping other companies in their digital transformation journey, right? So the importance and the reliance of other companies on you is even more important. And given that thing, once you've handled the data bit, right, and you have ensured, you still have to create a very, very robust cybersecurity architecture, right? How do you go on, mapping that in your organization when you know that so many other organizations, so many other employees worldwide are depending on you for that?
So the way we do, looking into our past experiences, we map our deliverables very clear and precise, in terms of our governance structure. So we have a compare checklist what we derive to ensure that, and these are based out checklists being created based on learnings and time which we have gone through. We decide these are the controls we should be defining for a region, and so I think a journey started from an on-prem to a cloud. So that is a paradigm shift what we did, and the moment you are on the cloud, you need to understand that today you are not on a single cloud; it's a multi-cloud journey. So while taking every ecosystem together, you start designing a solution which caters to the client first for your internal use, second for your clients if you are hosting anything on the public cloud. So the comfort is to ensure that how do we ensure and comply the data and the security, and all the solutions which are being onboarded are being tightly integrated with each other to provide the full view and visibility of what we are doing in the ecosystem.
Absolutely, Girish. I think you elucidated two, three very, very key points here. One is visibility. The second is, the integration part, and, complete monitoring of the same. Prakash, thank you for joining us here today, and I come to you at this juncture. We heard Girish, and I'm sure you are witnessing a similar, conversation all over the world, because you have, solutionizing companies everywhere. From your standpoint, from a very, very checkpoint standpoint, I feel there is a gap, that what companies are wanting to do and where they are today, right? Because, like we said that, things are changing very fast. How do you help your customers there? What is it that you address first when you are, having these conversations?
That's a great question, Sumedha. First and foremost, thanks for having me here today. And I'm pretty excited to be part of this discussion. Of course, Girish and our organizations have worked together in terms of jointly providing solutions to customers. And we've been doing this for about nearly 27 plus years right now. With that said, specifically, what we see is that we start with understanding the customer's current posture, security posture in particular, to the point that Girish was also alluding to. That tells you where your current health levels are. And what we see is that we have defined several generations of security required to support businesses, or to secure businesses rather. Now, most companies, in our experience, have been somewhere between generation 3 and generation 4 security, which I think are somewhere between having some simple security measures like ITES, IPS, firewall, and probably a little bit of technology on top of it. Now, today, the attacks are very sophisticated. I think they become like multi-vector attacks, where consistent as well as simultaneous attacks happening on different parts of the digital landscape, which means that since 2018, Checkpoint has been providing solutions for what we call as a generation 5, which leverages a lot on AI, ML technologies to identify zero-day threats and also to work towards a more preventive mechanism. So our ethos has been more in terms of providing prevention rather than just detection. So with that in mind, what we tell organizations is to how to rapidly move from generation 3 or 4 technology, which is where most of them are today, to quickly to adopt generation 5, which we believe is the bare minimum today to secure your enterprise. So that is one fundamental thing that we talk to enterprises about. And that is a start of a journey. And we kind of handhold them to various stages to get there as quickly as possible, at the same time maintain that posture in the interest of their business continuity.
That's very heartening to know, Prakash, that you are helping companies, transcend that journey, because, I'm sure it might sound very easy when you just say generation 3 to 4 to generation 5, but I'm sure a lot of things are going behind it. But, one thing that we know for a fact, okay, and that's, being observed across all industries today is that most companies are not planning to get their workforce back into the office anymore, right? Wherever possible. Or even if they are, the degrees or the percentages would be very less, right, than before. And I'm referring to the pre-COVID era and post-COVID. So this brings us to a very very typical and heightened issue, is that endpoint security is being called out, more than anything else at today's date, and that's becoming the primary node, of where attackers are, targeting, and given this thing, Grish, how are you planning to mitigate this particular risk across your organization and across your customers also? Do you see this as a major deterrent, or as a challenge, as my research says, or do you see it otherwise?
No, Sumita, agree with you, and I think from the COVID era, that started the paradigm shift from a perimeter security moving towards the endpoint. And endpoint today has been the most important and one of the most integral part of security posture, because the attack vectors can be easily targeted from the endpoint, and they can start working from east to west. So focusing on it, the endpoint becomes critical. We have technologies like XDR, etc., sitting on the endpoints to ensure they not only take care of the normal signature-based attacks, but go to the AI-based attacks as well. And I think rightly mentioned by you and by Prakash as well, that they are organizations sitting across their bots runs 24/7, attacking the system or the defense being created by the organizations. So endpoint becomes critical, and then what we are also trying to do is also ensuring, in case an endpoint gets impacted, how do we mitigate it as quickly as possible? So it's a two-way remedy. One, ensuring that we prevent an attack. Second, in case an event happens, how quickly you're able to isolate or have an action plan against it.
Absolutely, Girish. I think this two-pronged approach, I think, is very, very the need of the hour, where you prevent and then you respond also as quickly as possible, right? Prakash, I believe these things that have been called out by Girish, and they are already implementing. I happen to hear something that Checkpoint already has a solution which is really enabling the customers map out this whole detection and response system. I think Checkpoint Harmony Endpoint, if I'm not wrong, is the solution that Checkpoint has come out with. Why don't you elicit something on that and elaborate something on that?
Sure. So, Sumedha, we have three different product pillars in our family. The first one focusing on network security, which is what we call as a quantum. And the second pillar is basically anything and everything to do securing the cloud workloads as well as the cloud infrastructure, which we call as a cloud guard. Now, Harmony is a very vital piece, because this is the piece of the third pillar, which it forms, manages to provide secure access to customers, users, back into their corporate applications or SaaS applications in a safe and secure manner. Now, the Harmony Endpoint family has got a wide variety of services that we offer, including offering SaaS framework for customers who are adopting secure services at the edge, as well as things like XDR that we just spoke about, right? Now, the key aspect about securing endpoint is that it's an easy entry point for hackers to get into, because of the variety of devices that you use and the ubiquitous way it is being used. And not only that, more than securing your employees, businesses also have to secure the vendors who are accessing their infrastructure for conducting business. So to offer that, we also offer complete solutions to our customers from a zero trust access based perspective. So where users, based on their role and their eligibility, will be given access to only select applications. So nobody is trusted. It's only based on your identification and your authentication. You are given access to certain services. That is fundamental, and I think that's where most businesses are going today to improve their security posture. The other is in terms of how do I provide secure access to devices that I don't manage. So we not only have cliented support, but also have clientless access into applications. And the best part is this Harmony integrates very well with our other two pillars that I spoke of, Quantum and also Cloud Guard, by a single management layer, which gives you a single pane of glass kind of view across your entire digital infrastructure. And this is very unique to us. And last but not least, all of these three pillars leverage a common brain which is the threat intelligence that we have, which is residing in the cloud in a very seamless manner, what we call as a threat cloud. Now, why is this important? Is that all of these three need to be working in unison and leveraging the common intelligence to ensure that businesses stay protected from not only known threats but also unknown threats. So that is where our story gets very strong, and harmony is a very vital piece of our overall solution architecture.
That's wonderful, Prakash. And I think one thing that you just addressed is very pivotal, is that having that single pane of view. Because today, it's not about just cybersecurity operations; it's about cybersecurity management, right? People, they are having to, deal with so many layers in their organizations of different technologies. When the IoT piece also comes in, the AI piece comes in, the cloud, the multi-cloud environment that Grish referred to, right? I think that having that single pane of view, I think, is more critical when you are dealing with your cybersecurity, architecture, and it's very good to know and comforting to know that yes, we have solutions for that, and organizations stay protected. Thank you, gentlemen, for this very enlightening and insightful conversation today. I have a very important takeaways as research, and I'm sure this will be very helpful for our audience also today. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the insight shared. Thank you.
Thanks, Sumedha, for inviting us. Thanks, Prakash.
Thank you for having us. Bye-bye.